All right, so we're gonna have to make this one quick because I gotta go very, very soon. I'm already filming this a couple days late. I'm sorry about that. I wanted to get this out, not necessarily the day of. I think that'd be a little difficult, but I did want to at least try to get it out the day after. You're probably not gonna see this until Monday, which, you know, is not ideal, but beggars can't be choosers. I'm the beggar in this case. I thought this episode was great. I mean, as always, there will be spoilers, so if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. Why are you waiting to hear my thoughts? Go watch it, then come back. Because this entire show is good. This episode was good. If I had to rank it, probably definitely above 2, maybe above 3, below 1 still. I don't know if anything is going to be able to top the season premiere for this season, but we'll see. Definitely one of the better episodes. I'm really enjoying it. So I guess I'll just go down the plot again. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. Please go watch this show. It's really good. But anyway, I think I loved the opening scene. Very reminiscent of if anyone's ever had a parent who's trying to fix something and they're trying to give you instructions, but you don't know what you're doing because you're a small child. I mean, anyone who's ever been on either end of that, I'm sure got a kick out of the scene. Again, I'm not a parent. I've only ever seen that from the child's perspective, but very cute. Again, hammering home the relationship between Mando and the child being a father-son relationship. Is the child a son? I don't actually know. I think he's a boy. I think that's... Do we know for sure? Anyway, that's kind of a weird thing that they haven't actually brought up. Whatever. So this episode, they go back to Navarro. You meet up with Greef Karga and Cara Dune. Both cool characters. I'm going to get this out of the way. It's very obvious this episode was directed by Carl Weathers, who plays Greef Karga. And the whole thing is him being, throughout the episode, it feels very much like, all right, and then I get to hold Baby Yoda, and I also get to make fun of the mithril guy, and I get to have a cool new costume with a cool cape, and I'm also in charge of the town, and I'm a good leader, and I'm joking around. Obviously, none of that's a criticism. I just think it's kind of funny. Which, I mean, of course he's directing the episode that he's in. That just kind of makes sense. And this episode very much feels like just fun action, all throughout. I think that's just really cool. And it's done really well. Honestly, as far as action goes, I think the chase at the end is awesome, really fun, really tense, but still really fun, you know? It's fast, it's intense, but it's not it's oh no, are they in danger? But you know what, I'm having such a good time that I don't really care. And not every action scene should be like that. You need to keep the tension, but I think having moments that are we're just having fun, we're getting chased by some Imperials, I think it's really good. And the second that, again, spoilers, and the second that you think that they're in danger, the Razor Crest swoops in. It's great. Aside from that, though, I think a lot of the action is just hallway running, shooting stormtroopers, nothing we've never seen before in everything. We've been seeing shit like that in A New Hope, and it's not bad. It's hard to get that wrong, but you're not doing anything original, so it's hard for me to be oh yeah, that's awesome. It's just running through hallways, shooting at stuff. It's, nothing groundbreaking. and it wasn't done so incredibly well that I'm like, yeah, that was awesome. But, it's good. It's fine. It's passable. I'm not gonna knock points off for it, but I'm definitely not giving it any points, you know? Anyway, so they get to this planet to get repairs for the Razor Crest because it got its ass eaten in the second episode and it barely got fixed in the third episode. I think it's funny that when Grief Karga asks what happened to the Razor Crest, he says that he ran in with the New Republic, not that the New Republic didn't do shit to it. In fact, they got destroyed by spiders, and then the New Republic saved the ship. I think that's kind of funny. I mean, he wouldn't have ran into the spiders if it wasn't for the New Republic anyway, so I guess that makes some sense. So now, at this point, Grief and Cara Dune have, like, totally... they've turned the city on Navarro totally around. It's this peaceful, happy, like, thriving little town. And when before it was just a generic, like, seedy, scum and villainy, like, gross, like, shithole. And it's a lot less of a shithole. You know, that's what it's like living on the Outer Rim. It's just every planet is a shithole. But it's nice to see that progression. And then, like, later on when they're talking and they're showing the map, it feels almost like a video game. Like, all right, we've totally taken care of this sector. It's all this section of the map is green. We got to get over to we got to take out all of the red zones and turn them green so we can take the whole planet. Very video gamey, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. I think that's fun. A lot of stuff in this season does feel very video gamey, but never in a bad way. And I really have to appreciate that because it could have been in a bad way. Moving on from that, before I move on, Grief Karga's taken on this, like, administrative role. He's not like necessarily like a mayor, but he's kind of like in charge of everything. And then Cara Dune's like a sheriff. So, you know, good to see. Good, again, character progression. And they have a little schoolhouse, and they drop Baby Yoda off at school. He had his first day of school today. That made me so happy. I love Baby Yoda. I mean, you can see my giant 11-inch Baby Yoda Funko Pop back there. Back there. Yeah, that's how it looks. It looks right like that on camera. Love him. I think he's the cutest. I think he's great. I just love him. And then the scene where he's using the Force to steal cookies from this kid. I like how him using the Force has always been a subtle thing. Or at least more recently it has been. Like, obviously last season he lifted up the mud horn. But it's not that it's subtle, it's just very, like, not sparse. I don't think that's the word I'm looking for, but it's just placed randomly throughout. He's not using it in every episode. He's not doing everything with it. Because he's a baby. He doesn't know what he's doing. I think it's very well done. And it's like, of course, he wants to steal the big kid's cookies. And then later at the end when I said I was going to go through the plot, and then I'm still just jumping around, but whatever. And then, like, at the end when they're flying around in the ship and he's, like, putting his hands up, and then at the end he throws up the cookies. Again, I'm sorry that I keep, like, rubbing my nose. It's allergy season. Excuse me. It's allergy season, guys. I'm not living my best life right now. And it constantly feels like there's something in my nose. Oh. Ladies, I'm single. But anyway. Definitely a lot of fun. Definitely love seeing him. He makes me happy. What can I say? Moving on, I like how he's I don't know, he's just cute. I think that's everything that Baby Yoda did in this episode. I mean, he was just cute the whole time. And I do love this scene. I don't know if I want to reiterate, I do love that first scene where they get to Navarro, and then Grief Karga is like, he's like a grandpa seeing a baby for the first time in a while. He's like, oh, come here, let me see my boy. Has your dad been treating you well? Like, it's, I don't know, it just makes me happy. I don't know what to say. It just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy. And it's always done well. I mean, it would suck if it wasn't. I wouldn't be so excited about this if it wasn't done well. Next up, I think, yeah, so they bring the Mithril back from episode 1. Fine, I don't care. He's very goofy, very silly. There's a lot of back and forth between him and the other characters. It's fine. Again, it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, I don't care. There's two more things I want to talk about, though. At the end, or not at the end, when they get to the base and they see the creatures in the tubes. So, and you see the like hologram recording from Dr. Pershing. And he's talking about how, like, oh, we need another donor with a higher M count, which obviously stands for Midi-chlorians. No, there's no way it doesn't, you know? I don't know. What are they trying to do? Because then you see, like, the people in, like, the pods, right? Like, they look like they really remind me of Bacta tanks, which is probably what they are. I know people are saying, oh, is that, like, Snoke or Palpatine or whatever? I don't think so. And I don't want it to be, you know? I don't want... Unless this is, like, their way of... I know they've been people have been talking about rumors about them, like, making a timeline split where, like, the sequel trilogy doesn't happen and Palpatine never comes back. Which, honestly, the sequel trilogy could have been good if they didn't do that part, but whatever. That's... Unless they're going all the way and going down that rabbit hole, I'm good. I don't want it here. Tell that story somewhere else, please. I don't really want that here. Just because there is a million things going on, adding some more, like, lore for the Skywalker saga, it feels like it's gonna just be too much. Although, again, unless they're going absolutely nuts and are splitting the timeline, no, I'm good. Please keep it away. Even then, though, that seems like a lot. But, you know, again, I'm open to anything as long as it's a good story. But I think but I don't know, because we've seen since the first episode that Pershing the patch on his arm is like a Kaminoan symbol. So is he going to try to clone Baby Yoda? Is that what they're doing? Or are they just trying to use his blood and make people force sensitive? Which doesn't work. We've known that forever. That you can't just make someone force sensitive through, like, a blood transfusion. That's not how Midi-chlorians work. It's not that, and I think that's why people hate him a lot, is because they think that the Midi-chlorians are the cause of being force sensitive, and that's probably a belief in universe. I've always looked at it like they're a sign, like they're a side effect, like they're attracted to the force, not causing the force. That's how I've always viewed it. Mainly because that makes it less clinical and more scientific, which is really more what Star Wars and the Force should be. Whatever, though. What do I know? I think that they... I don't know. I hope that it gets... I want to see where this goes, though. I want to know more. Because obviously they want the child back, but there's no way that these experiments work anyway, because, as Pershing says, they all, like, had horrible side effects. And you can see them in the pods. They're all, like, horribly disfigured and shit, which is why people thought they were Palpatine or Snoke. So, I don't know. And we've even known that, like, usually... And this has, like, been a thing since Legends, that, like, if you try to clone a Force user, usually they just, like, go insane, and it doesn't work at all. So that's definitely going to be interesting to see where that goes, because it can't work, right? I don't want it to work. I think it, and it shouldn't, based on, one, previously established lore, and just two, what the Force means. You know, the Force isn't a scientific, clinical thing. It's a spiritual thing, and it needs to... The Force being a spiritual thing is, like, one of the main pillars of Star Wars, is that the Force is this force of good or evil. So here's hoping that however it goes, one, it's a good story, and two, understands that important aspect of Star Wars as an entire franchise. I'm judging by how the rest of the series has gone, there's no doubt in my mind that they can pull it off, and whatever the end result is, it's good and it's satisfying. But there is that, like, nagging feeling in the back of my head where it's like, oh no. Or are they just trying to... Now, are they doing something completely different? Is Moff Gideon trying to, which this ties into the very final scene, is he just trying to use midichlorians and Force-sensitive blood, not necessarily to give people, like, Jedi powers or whatever, but to just make them strong enough physically to handle wearing the Dark Trooper armor. Oh boy, the Dark Troopers are back, and you know, it was a little ambiguous just by going off of the what you see on screen, but apparently if you have descriptive audio on, it name drops Dark Troopers. That means that's what we're looking at. Now, for those of you who don't know, and this is not, I've never played Dark Forces or any of the comics or anything that are related to it. I've never played the game. I don't know. I don't even know if there's, like, comics or books related to it. I don't know shit about Kyle Katarn. I don't know shit about the Dark Troopers. This is just what I've picked up from, like, you know, watching YouTube videos about Star Wars and whatnot. It's that they are, they're like these, the Dark Trooper project started as, like, a droid thing. I think Star Wars Explained made a much better video on this just today. I watched it earlier today. So go watch that if my explanation isn't good enough. They started out as like droids, like just a security, like battle droid, and then they were like a droid that looked like a stormtrooper, and that was the Mark II, and then the Mark III. I'm sorry about my nose, it keeps bothering. It feels like there's like something in it, and I gotta like rub it. I don't know. Again, allergy season, gotta love it. But anyway, the third step was a suit. It was a droid that was autonomous, and you could also get inside of it like a fucking Iron Man suit. That's really cool. I'm so excited to see that, and it's like, how cool would that be? You know, that's gearing up for like a final boss fight, or like, you know, that's gonna power, if Gideon gets inside the suit himself, boom, there's your final boss. There's your final fight. You know, like next episode, Maybe it's like Ahsoka. Well, Ahsoka's definitely showing up next episode. No chance in hell. But then maybe they get they meet Ahsoka, and then they get ambushed by a bunch of dark troopers, including Moff Gideon in the suit. And it's like, under normal circumstances, Ahsoka would probably wipe the floor with Gideon. But now that he's got a fucking mech suit that he's in, I think they're gonna go toe to toe and they're gonna actually clash with each other. So it's very exciting. Again, as always, it's nice seeing little references here and there. That's always appreciated. It shows that you care about the source material enough to say, hey, look, this is a thing from something. You guys, I do care. But what's important to me, as always, and I sound like a broken record in every one of these reviews, when I talk about Cobb Vanth and Boba Fett and R5 and Bo-Katan and the Darksaber itself, and Ahsoka, and yeah, more recently Ahsoka and the Dark Trooper, what's important is how it can help the story. If you're just throwing a bunch of shit that people have seen before, just throwing it out there just to be like, yep, here's the thing you remember, and it's just like a machine to shoot at or whatever, that's like, who gives a shit? Who cares? How's it gonna help the story? Does Gideon want to be powerful? Does he want to be like have his own mini empire now, and he may not be able to use the Force like Palpatine and Vader did, but he's gonna steal the coolest lightsaber ever, and he's gonna start a project where he's gonna give himself kind of at least like enhanced ability. Like, I'm sure it'll give him like not necessarily like super strength or whatever, but like just better physical abilities. He's gonna give himself a robot suit. He's gonna make himself into a crazy warrior like Vader. Like, there was an interview that came out like months before the season even aired where Giancarlo Esposito, I hope I pronounced his name right, who plays Moff Gideon, said something along the lines of that Gideon was like a descendant of Vader. Now, obviously he didn't mean that literally, but like, I think what that's going to come to mean is that Gideon is going to try to be the next Darth Vader. And it's like, all right, well, I can take my suit off, and my lightsaber isn't just a generic red one. My lightsaber is the ancient Mandalorian Darksaber. I'm a dark trooper with my dark saber and my dark empire. I was gonna try to make a joke about him being, I don't know if he's black. I don't know what race he is. And Vader's white, and that's so he's dark, so he's darker. I don't know how to make that joke work. I'm just gonna say it. Here, I'm gonna give you guys the pieces to make a funny joke because I can't. But I'm excited. I think, but you know, now that I'm saying it like that, it's making me feel like this is just that now he's just kind of a discount Kylo Ren, where the whole point of Kylo Ren's character was that he was trying to be, or at least one of the major pillars of it was that he was trying to be the next Darth Vader. But I mean, where Kylo Ren was emo child, I think Gideon is much more of a legitimate threat. He's much more of he's a stronger and more he's more intelligent, definitely more cunning leader, where Kylo Ren was just emo. Yeah, Kylo Ren had that magic plot relevant Skywalker blood. Moff Gideon has actual talent. And no, I think it's the difference between not talent, that actually using that word made me realize that I'm actually wrong. It's Kylo has the talent, Gideon has the skill. You know, Gideon is working for what he wants. Which I guess is also an Anakin thing, because Anakin's whole thing was that he never really had to work. He was just always good at being a Jedi, and that's kind of that, like, he never matured, and I guess that immaturity kind of made him go down the dark path. I don't know. You know, it's like poetry. It rhymes. That's the thing with talking about Star Wars, is that I can always... It's always... Even if it's not all, like, interconnected lore-wise, I mean, it is, but it's always, like, thematically it is, and I know I use the stupid George Lucas, oh, it's like poetry, it rhymes line, because that is a funny line, don't get me wrong. I love that. Love you, George. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at what you said. But it's true, you know? It's very much on purpose, and I appreciate stories that can do that and do it well. That's part of why I like Kingdom Hearts, is because there's a lot of moments like that do that well. I mean, in Kingdom Hearts, there's a lot of moments that do that incredibly poorly, but there's also a lot that do it well, and that makes me really happy. Just to see these, like, cycles in the universe, and then seeing them get broken, and seeing these scenes that are reminiscent to older scenes and characters and just themes in general. Very good. I think I'm going to end it there. I've been talking for... I started filming this and filmed for 5 minutes and then decided to start over. So we've been going for about a half an hour. I think I'm going to cut it there, though. As always, next Friday's a new episode. Hopefully I'll get that out closer to the actual episode release time. It's not going to be next Monday, I hope. I haven't really been watching anything other than The Mandalorian. At least nothing that I've wanted to review. I kind of want to review the new Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, so we'll see where that is. I'm also starting to work on a Melody of Memory review. So, and as always, I have ideas floating around in the back of my head that I want to do, but who knows what's going to happen next. Definitely next video is going to be it's going to be Star Wars related. Either it's a Mandalorian review or it's a Lego Star Wars Holiday Special review, which I will probably call part of Stuck at Home Movies. I'm going to try to do all Christmas things, starting this week and then moving up through December, and then maybe even early January if I want to have the Christmas video after Christmas, fuck you. I'm going to do whatever I want. It's my channel. So we'll see what happens, as always. It's been real. I still have to 100% Melody of Memory, and I don't know if you've played the game, but I think you should be aware that Dark Dominion is kicking my ass. Good night, tri-state area.